Hello and welcome to Creating Canon with your hosts AJ Hamilton and Necrophiliac Pie Fight.
Talk about cream in your pants.
Whipping those zombies.
Whip? Whipping those zombies? Whip.
Little cool whip on the pie.
Yes.
The zombie pie.
Yeah. You know why we're doing so many zombie movies in a row?
Why?
Because they have a nice appeal pie.
You could not be reaching, like,
It
how is
hurt.
your
My
arm?
shoulder hurts.
Yeah.
My shoulder hurts because I reached so far for that joke. I called it a joke. It's not a joke. The joke was that I said it. I am the joke in that moment.
And Nicholas C. Pappas, the joke.
The joke. Oh, yeah, boy.
And we're talking about silly zombies.
Yeah.
Because what movie are we doing this week?
This week we're talking about George A. Romero's 1978 classic, Dawn of the Dead. And I want to say that I am not using the term classic lightly.
No, sir.
Because fuck, as good as the 68 Night of the Living Dead is, the 78 Dawn of the Dead is like, wow.
It expands on that world. It pays homage to that world.
Yep.
It lives in that world for so long.
Yeah.
I was blown away by it. I've seen it before, but like you, I think it's... How long has it been?
I think it's been probably, if I had to guess, 15 to 20 years.
Damn, man. I think it might have been 10, but it's been way too long.
Yeah.
Because this should be in my yearly rotation. I'm so
Seriously.
glad. I think I'm going to make it a Halloween tradition.
Yeah, I feel like this should be. This definitely should be. And, like, maybe one other, like, zombie movie, like, to double feature it up.
Oh,
But,
absolutely.
Like, Dawn of the Dead and X.
Yes.
Because, fuck, this was so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plot-wise, just a really quick plot recap.
Please go into it.
I actually didn't write this down, so I'm going to freestyle this.
What? Do you need a beat?
Yes. Red is the color of zombie brains.
That's it?
Well, I was trying to do the rapping song. Remember the rapping song?
Oh, yeah.
Blue is the color of the sky. Also the shirt on that guy. Red is the color of zombie brains. As you're shooting them, walking through the plains.
Although they're flying helicopters.
Well, they shoot zombies, yeah.
On the plane.
On the
plane.
planes.
I'm sorry, different spelling. I couldn't...
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. But just... just real basic recap of this movie. It takes place seemingly right at the same time that Night of the Living Dead sort of ends.
Yes.
And it's, I would say, the next... What do you think?
Week
72 hours or so?
Within a week.
Within a week?
Because,
yeah, it's the next week of the
because
zombie
it's an
apocalypse.
outbreak, but they also seem to have put in some sort of task force to react to it a little bit. Like,
I don't know.
Well, the cops, the National Guard or whatever, are going in there and they seem to sort of know the situation a little bit, and they seem to have a strike plan or something like that. Kinda. No, I mean, they're not prepared for it.
Wait, what task force are you talking about? Like
the cops that
in
go
the
in
tenement building?
Yes, exactly.
They're not there for the zombies. They're there to get criminals out.
Oh.
Yeah, they're there for the criminals.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I think what we're supposed to understand is...
I thought that they knew both things.
No, I think the zombies were a complete and utter shock, which is why they were able to be overtaken by the zombies.
Interesting. Okay.
They might have known that the zombies existed.
Yeah.
Because remember, if there's the one point where they're like, why are there so many? How are they even here? Why didn't they kill them?
Right.
And I think it was the Ken Foree character who said, basically, it's because...
they still have respect for the dead. Yes.
Which I thought was super fascinating, and I want to get all into that. But yeah, I feel like the beginning of this movie, especially the stuff at the studio,
it's
takes place at the same time. Like, those are the telecasts.
So those are those things that they are seeing.
Yeah, or that our characters in Night of the Living Dead are watching.
I actually looked back on the 1968 version, and I couldn't see anything relating to the same place, because they are both in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Or not Pittsburgh, maybe just Pennsylvania in general.
Area, I should say. Yeah.
But they do list Pittsburgh on one of the broadcasts on where they are. But I couldn't see. The studio is actually called WGON TV. I was trying to look for We Gone. Yes. I love that. I think that's such a great little attention to detail.
That's really great. Yeah, one of the things I got to throw out there is that the pure blinding panic of that station, and that scene lasts for the first 8 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah.
We were watching the station and we're watching people panic, and hardened news people are freaking out and panicking. And there's just complete chaos. As
giving up. People are giving up.
Yeah, giving up and leaving. I loved the way that set the scene for this movie, because the tension was so ramped up. And we didn't see a single fucking zombie for 10 minutes.
No.
And then when they finally went into the tenement building, I was already like, oh!
Yeah, it is boiling pot.
Yeah. That attack is relentless and harsh. It's also sad.
When they take a shotgun to that guy's head and it blows up, these were some amazing effects for 70s.
Yeah, Tom Savini's effects.
Dude.
The two things that I wrote, you can actually see what I wrote down, were Tom Savini effects and this fucking score by Goblin.
Right,
because, are you familiar with...
The Goblins.
Or Goblin, depending.
Didn't they do The Lady in Red Kill 7 Times? No. What was the movie that we put it in?
It sounds similar. We did put that in there. Goblin worked a lot with Dario Argento.
Okay.
And did the score for Deep Red. They did the score for Suspiria, and they did the score for Phenomena.
That's right. We put some of the Suspiria music at the end of that episode. Right.
They also did the score for a movie called Contamination, or Alien Contamination, which is a canon film that we are going to do on this very podcast someday.
Can't wait.
So we get some more Goblin score. They're actually probably one of my favorite, hands down. Their music to me is... I mean, it's got that synth thing going on, but it is super fucking haunting.
Yeah, it is. And only a couple of things hit me oddly. You know how just because it is of the time, certain music cues can hit you in a different way than what it would have back in those times.
There was one cue that I hated too. I'm curious if it's the same one.
I think it might have been during the truck part, and I can't remember. I don't know why that hit me wrong, but what was yours?
The one for me was when Peter... So at the end of I'm jumping straight to the end.
Sure.
When Peter is I'm going to stay, then decides not to stay.
Oh, the A-Team music?
Yeah, that was horrible hero music.
Yeah,
that was the only time in the score I was like, oh, Goblin, you done let me down.
That was a very weird one. Yeah, the other ones didn't really bother me. In fact, even it's a little odd, but the music that they choose to play over the mall at the very end after they've taken off.
I actually loved it.
It's very interesting because it just keeps... It's the same thing. It's the same day over and over again because this is the reality we live in. Well, I really thought that was interesting.
It was so good. Well, and I also... That music, too, had I don't know if this was on purpose or on accident. It seemed to use similar cues to It's a Small World. Where it's da 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 da.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
I'm not musically inclined, so I apologize.
Da 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 da. No, you're fine.
But yeah,
jumping back to... So we meet two of our 4 leads in the newsroom, Francine and Stephen. They're a couple.
They're in the newsroom, yep.
And Stephen flies the helicopter.
Yep.
Then we go and meet Roger and Peter.
Yep. And Roger and Peter are both cops in the tenement building. It does not seem that they know each other.
Yeah, I immediately loved their relationship.
Totally.
Because there's this crazy guy who...
The racist cop?
The racist crazy guy who's named Wooly. And I loved how much I hated him.
Yes.
Also, there was a line that I think not Wooly, but the guy who was the chief or whatever, who was leading the attack on the building, said, The bastards got moved into one building, the dumb little bastards. And now
Yep.
it's just so, I know that a lot of this script, because they were shooting a bit not on a shoestring budget, but they were
this is a shoestring budget.
But they improved quite a bit of the dialogue on the day.
So the reported budget, we should talk about the budget
Sure,
for just
go
half
ahead.
a second, because I think this will fucking blow your mind. The reported budget was $1.5 million.
Woo!
But
Damn, dude.
one of the things that I read was that was a lie that they told foreign investors so they could get more money on the back end. That the real budget was actually closer to about $500,000.
Jesus, a third of that.
Yeah, so
I can do math.
And this movie, and the worldwide gross of this movie was $55 million.
That's incredible.
So if you think of a $55 million box office on even 1.5 million is incredible, but 500,000, and this is one of those movies where even at 1.5 million, every fucking penny of that was on the screen.
It really was.
I would have, if you would have made me guess how much this movie would have cost, like if you made this movie today,
right?
Actually, I bet. Speaking of making this movie today, I didn't look it up. I would guess that the Zack Snyder version cost $100 million.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, the fact that they were doing that on
no,
so good.
Well, and actually having a dedicated set, because we'll get to it, but when they get to the main event, the mall, which everybody I think knows that this one takes place primarily in a mall, they didn't have it all the time.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
There.
No, so when the crazy dude,
crazy
Wooly,
racist cop,
is just yelling out racial slurs and shooting people. They're yelling about black people and Puerto Ricans and horrible stuff. So they were tackling the racism aspect at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah, and one of the other things too about the very beginning of the movie that like I found super fascinating, threw me off, and I just loved it, was there was this question about, and I'm going to kind of hop here, but I want to point this out, of like the people in this tenement building were collecting all of their dead in a room.
In like the laundry room.
In the laundry room. And where they have that one-legged preacher, it was so fucking creepy.
Oh
when
my
he came
God.
out.
There was no reason that they had to cast a one-legged preacher, but
holy shit.
Do you think, even though it was creepy and weird and off-putting and stuff, does it have something like the legs were taken out of religion or something to that effect? Like, was it that high-minded of a metaphor?
Interesting.
Because the fact that the dead were coming back and...
Well, I actually had this question because in the mall there was both a nun and a Krishna zombie.
Absolutely.
And I was curious if that was a statement on religion.
It's got to be somewhere.
I feel like it's got to be somehow, maybe not like it's a solid of a statement.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that a ton of the zombies in the tenement scene were real-life amputees.
Oh, my God.
That's why there were so many... Like, that's why the effects in that scene were especially good. It's because they weren't effects.
I gotta say, I'm pretty used to horror movies.
Yes.
I don't get too squeamish unless it's like gore porn. And when it's way too real and way too visceral, like cutting Achilles tendons and awful stuff like that. But... looking at that laundry room full of zombies writhing around and eating things really got me. Like, it got me in the way that it made the horror come back to the humanity and the loss of humanity and the eating of... It was just gross and awesome. And I loved it.
And I think what also helped in that scene was Ken Foree was really great. I mean, he has that line where they kill him, like him and Roger, who's a white. We should mention Ken Foree is black and Roger is white.
Right.
Going back to that racist cop, you know, Ken Foree kills him because he is starting to just kill tenants.
Yeah.
And he looks at Roger and he's like, you know, basically says to Roger, like, are you going to say anything? And Roger's like, I didn't see a damn thing.
I don't know how he died.
Fact, of all the cops, Roger was the only one who tried to stop the racist cop.
Yes, he got thrown off of him.
Yeah, other than the one black cop.
Yeah. And Ken Foree was masked at the time. We didn't know, which was intimidating and awesome.
And he's 6'5", so that also helps with his intimidation factor.
That's true.
But what ends up happening in that moment is, like, they connect, they bond, they go downstairs, they run into that preacher, they find all those writhing zombies on the ground, they kill all the zombies.
They have to take them all out, yeah.
And then some guy comes in, he's like, do you need help? And Ken Foree has this line that's haunting where he goes, it's all done. It's all been done. And I think that's one of the things of that moment, why... Because not only is it gross and disgusting and horrible, but the reality of what these people are doing and having to deal with was played for reality. I mean, like, I hate to say it that way.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I wanted to point out, which I thought was so fascinating, was the juxtaposition of, like, the people in this tenement building were definitely poor.
Right.
Because it's a tenement building. Mostly minorities.
Seems like
and they had such reverence for the dead.
Yeah.
Which I thought was so fascinating, juxtaposed to 5 minutes later when all of the rednecks were running around shooting as many dead and having, like,
parties.
A grand old time and parties. And one of the things I was going to say is in some of our last episodes, we referred to them as rednecks.
Yeah.
Which is incorrect if you think of them as rednecks mostly. I think a lot of people assume rednecks in the South.
Okay, yeah.
And all these movies take place in the Pittsburgh area.
Right.
But the characters in this movie refer to them as rednecks.
Do they?
Yes, they call them rednecks.
Okay.
Look at all those rednecks are doing. So I just thought that was a real fascinating thing. And
vindicated.
They are enjoying the whole goddamn thing. And I just thought that juxtaposition was so incredible.
And I think the structure of this movie is fantastic because we get 3 slices of life of this new world that we're in. This zombie-filled world.
Yes.
Within the first 20 minutes of this movie.
Uh-huh.
Like, we are entering the redneck area in minute 18 or 19. And I was like, this is amazing. Also, the redneck part, it flies over what suspiciously looks like the farmhouse in Night of the Living Dead, right?
Too. Yeah,
it's
it looked at
the surrounding of the house, the setting up of the policemen and the hunters and everything like that.
That was supposed to be the point.
Must have been, right.
These
are all crossing over.
Yes, we are supposed to understand that moment. What is happening is that what the rednecks did at the end of Night of the Living Dead was not as heroic as it actually was, and that there's something horrible and scary about it.
Right.
One of my favorite parts, just hopping back before they get on the airplane, is when the policeman is like, they're all in the airplane getting ready to take off. Or, I'm sorry, the helicopter getting ready to take off, and the policeman goes up and he's like, hey, y'all, do you got a cigarette? Do y'all got a cigarette? And they each in turn are like, no,
sorry, buddy.
No. He leaves, and then, like, all 4 reach into their pockets and light up a cigarette.
Classic.
Well, what was so amazing about that was, first of all, how all of them were going to survive. Like, they were survivalists.
Very much.
And we did not have time to hand over the things that were going to help us survive.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. And then also, too, the reality of, like, in the zombie apocalypse, where are you going to get fucking cigarettes?
Right? I mean, that's a huge thing that I don't think anybody really thinks about in these survivalist things is, like, also war movies. Like, if you're stranded out there and you're getting Nick fits.
Yeah.
Like, in the middle of a fight.
I always give you Nick fits.
Oh, fits for Nick. But can you imagine going through withdrawal of any addiction in a high-stress situation? That's rough.
Yeah. Whew. Oh, boy.
No, I really liked that. And I also liked him saying, where are you going to go? And he's like, an island?
Any island?
Any of them, I guess.
Well, what's really great about that is when we get to the 4th, 5th, and 6th movies.
Yes.
Of the Romero series. So there's Night of the Living Dead. There is Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, and Survival of the Dead. And I believe Land, Diary, and Survival all have to deal with an island.
Well, and at the end of the remake of Dawn of the Dead, they do get on a boat and they go out and they land on an island, and that's where they find the zombies and the head in the cooler.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Oh, speaking of cooler, I love that scene in this movie where, what was it? I mean, we're hopping all around, but like after they kill all the zombies, after Ken Furry has that great line where he's like, we're going on a hunt, and they kill all the zombies in the mall, and they put the zombies in the fridge, and they're stealing the money, and there's like that awesome shopping montage, and they're having so much fun.
There are so many amazing moments of this.
But what I loved about that too is like cut immediately, like within minutes, it was like, woo, 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 yeah, and then just like fucking boredom, because what else are you supposed to do
after you've taken the meaningless money and you've eaten 1,500 meals or whatever,
like, you just at that point it's like
it's going to be a grind. And the interesting time clock that they put on this, because we're not sure in movies like this, it's hard to tell how many days have passed.
Yes.
Because just by saying a day and a night have passed or anything like that is difficult. But we find out that Francine, our female lead in this, has been impregnated by Mr. Stephen,
Yep.
aka Sad Steve Carell, aka Dr. House.
Yes, I see all of these.
Yeah, and so we know that she's 3 or 4 months in, but she never has the baby before the end of the movie, so we
Yes.
know.
And she doesn't even start showing.
It's true, yeah. For lack of wearing an overcoat, we don't know how much she is showing. So we know that it is in between 3 to 4 months, or less,
or less. I'm guessing it's just a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
One of the moments that I really loved in this movie is when Ken Foree's character, when he finds out that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
He basically goes, "I know how to abort a baby."
Well, and this was, oh my God, because the implications of that are: do you really want to raise a child
Yes.
in a world like this?
Well, you know what's really amazing? It's that ethical question is a literal ethical question that I have had with my current partner about
the
climate
current world.
change.
Yeah.
Well, just about climate change. Of
Yeah.
Like, scientists believe at this point that within our lifetimes, in the next 20 to 30 years, we're going to get to the point where half the human population is dead.
Yeah.
Do you ethically bring a child into this world knowing that that is a real possibility? And the fact that they brought this up in the movie, I was like,
damn.
yes.
Wow.
Thank you. 'Cause
Well,
that was so interesting.
Yeah.
Such a good thing.
And the timing of this, the fact that they're addressing it is incredible, because this is 5 years after Roe v. Wade.
Yes.
1973 was the decision.
Yep.
This is 1978, shooting in 1977. That's ballsy, man. To raise that kind of question in worldwide media.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Well, that's actually an interesting thing that we should think about, because this isn't necessarily worldwide media.
Fair,
in
but
that it's a super independent film.
Well, but
yes.
It was still going to be shown to America.
Totally.
And America was the one addressing that issue within society right then.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love when they stopped the helicopter where they stopped to fuel, and the little 2 kids come out.
Oh my God.
And those are Tom Savini's kids.
Nephews. Nephew and niece.
Oh, nephew and niece. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're the only zombies who move quick, which apparently they didn't tell Ken Foree about, and he was really actually shocked.
Oh, it's a great scene.
Yeah, and then they have that great moment where Steven, who is not a fighter, raises the gun to shoot shoot a different zombie.
Yes.
And in the line of fire would have been Ken Foree. Yeah. He would have killed him, and Ken Foree just fucking will not let up in a way that is so awesome.
Yeah.
And
then Roger pushes him out of the way.
Yes, Roger pushes him out of the way and
takes aim. Funny enough, that happened twice.
I loved it.
You loved both of the times?
Oh yeah, well, because to me what it was clear was that Steven was not a shooter.
Was hesitant, yeah.
Was hesitant, and when he was shooting, he was aiming for the chest, and it was sort of Roger like constantly being like, fucking shoot for the head,
out
dickhead.
of the way, idiot.
Yeah, but I love that. This is the thing that I loved was like the way the relationships developed, because Ken Foree's character Peter and Steven, played by David MG?
Sure.
I think it's MG. Emg? Anyways, the 2 of them immediately have like beef because Steven almost killed Peter.
Right.
And it's legitimate, and and it's not based off of like some stupid rivalry. It's real for that world. And then something happens, and Ken Foree, I don't remember exactly what happens, but it's downstairs. They have this moment where they connect, they bond. He starts calling him Flyboy because he flies the plane. Yeah. And I just really love the development of that relationship, because it really felt true and honest and lovely.
Indeed.
And real.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I think that the interactions are so natural.
Yes.
All 4 of them interact in a way that, like, you can see the relationships on screen. You can see the preference for their quote unquote partner, or who they like more,
or they're aligning to.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love the fact that Francine won't be a second-class citizen in this world, where she's like, she makes that joke
not
about
gonna be your den mother.
Well, yeah, she makes the joke about like, would you like me to make you dinner because I forgot my pots and pans. I'm not gonna be your den mother. I loved it because they treated her like the den mother, where like, you pretty lady, just stay here and we're not going to give you a gun.
Right.
Just, we'll protect you.
And she's like, I want a gun next time.
Yeah, I will fucking protect myself. Thank you very much.
I will say,
and she does.
One of my favorite moments in this movie is the run to get the trucks.
Well, before we go get the trucks,
one
thing, and I just want to, it's like 4 things kind of all encapsulated in
right.
this moment. They do land at the mall after they fuel up.
Right.
There's also that great scene where the zombie's about to kill Roger. When the helicopter blades are
yeah.
spinning, he like stands up, and like just the top of his head goes off. I thought that might have been the most dangerous scene I've ever seen filmed, if those were actually rotating blades.
Yeah.
Because that extra, or whoever that was, just one wrong step, that would have been his real head.
I believe I know how they did it. I think it's a perspective thing.
Oh, maybe.
He could definitely have been like 10 feet away and used different bits of perspective, and then they pulled the...
Oh.
I mean, they're not going to have
see.
It knock his head actually off.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure...
But that was
I don't know.
so
but
cool.
It's such a great, unique zombie death. I loved it.
So good. Oh, by the way, extras for this movie, they were paid in a t-shirt that said Dawn of the Dead, a donut, and $1.
Bam.
That's what I read. That's what they got for a day.
Wow.
But
well, it took them 3 hours to get into makeup.
Yes, that's crazy. 3 hours to get into zombie makeup.
That's some dedication.
And there's only 8 people working on the makeup team with Tom Savini. That was it.
Oh my god.
Which is nuts.
Jesus.
A couple of things which I thought was really interesting was once they get to the mall, all of a sudden there's all these zombies at the mall.
Yeah.
And one of the things we talk about in this movie is the way consumerism affects America.
Sure.
And they say it pretty blatantly that it's instinct and memory that brings them to the mall.
Right. It's just a place that they want to be.
It's just a place where they know to go.
Yeah.
And they repeat that like 3 times, or it's like, it's just a place where they know to go. It's just a place. But there was also some really interesting things where when the survivors, our four leads, are looting the mall, they are not necessarily looting for things that are needed to survive.
No.
They are definitely...
They're getting fancy.
They're on the consumerism track, which I thought was interesting. But I also think what was fascinating about that, it was like the joy in some of those early mall scenes, and that what the survivors do is mostly logical and smart.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout.
Well, and you see that in Night of the Living Dead, the original,
Yes.
where they take the time to figure out the process that they have to go through. They have to find the keys. They have to figure a way to distract the zombies. They don't just jump from place to place, or they don't shoot their way through.
Yes.
They shoot their way through when it's necessary, but it is so A equals B equals C. It's great.
But not in a boring way.
No.
But they even
It's
go
tense.
so far as one of my favorite moments in the entire movie is... There's like a special area that's like upstairs from the upstairs,
right,
where they sort of hole up and quote unquote live. And I just loved the fact that rather than letting that be an open staircase and a door, they actually
build a
wall.
Camouflage.
They build a false wall over it so zombies can't get through. So if anyone comes to that place, they won't see the staircase door.
That's a strategic genius. That's like... I don't understand where he got the idea from, but this is whoever the writers for this, which were Romero and just Romero. It wasn't Russo.
And then people threw out some ideas, but this
Sure.
was just Romero.
But that's him understanding not only the story that he wants to tell, but he also has to understand the setting. Like, that is imagining the setting while imagining the story.
Absolutely.
And that's as important as anything else.
We should talk about that truck scene, because that truck scene is so exciting in a weird way.
Well, before that, when they are trying to establish themselves in the mall, there is the most tense scene, I think. I mean, it just gets more tense throughout the movie. But I was actually drawn in. There's a point where they're getting a few things to survive on just at the beginning, and Roger gets a tracksuit jacket or something like that, ties it around. He takes it off a mannequin. Well, the second time they go past that mannequin, a zombie jumps out at him and gets him on the floor, and he is fighting for his life.
Yes.
Peter is trying to shoot him in the head, but he's like, he doesn't have a clear shot, and then he finally goes for his screwdriver and stabs the zombie in the ear.
Oh
my god. I have not seen. I mean, that's just classic,
Tom
amazing.
Savini.
Yes. Savini and Romero. What a dream team.
Yeah.
Knowing how to make something look good and how to make something look good. Yeah.
Well, Savini, and I think we mentioned this in the Night of the Living Dead episode, the 21st Century Films remake that Savini directed.
Yeah.
But Savini surfed in Vietnam.
Right.
And one of the things about this movie is he was fresh back. This was like within the first couple of years back.
My God.
Stateside.
Of course.
Which I think is why some of these effects are so gross and so gory, is because, Tom Savini sort of talked about what he does with his gore effects is he saw them. He saw these things in real life.
It's unflinching.
He knows what real bodies look like when they're torn apart and what real guts look like when they're coming out.
Oh, let's talk about that later on.
Oh, yeah, because that scene was fucking...
Yikes.
Ugh. But yeah, so, that's why this looks so real, is because this is not... I don't know how to phrase this right, but this is not a makeup artist or CGI artist taking a guess at what this might look at. This is a man who fucking lived it, and he is making us live it.
Yeah.
And it is breathtaking in both... I don't know if gorgeous visual is necessarily the right thing to say.
Just visuals.
Visual. But, like... It's sad, and it's horrid, and it's beautiful, and it's broken, and it's all of those things.
It's storytelling, man.
Yeah.
It adds so much to it all. Third time's a charm with the truck thing, I think.
Yes.
Let's talk about that now.
Yeah.
That's, again, what you're talking about, the planning, the excellent thought process that these people have. They know what the next step is. So the next step is to block all the entrances, because they can't start killing zombies in the mall until they stop them from coming
into the mall.
Yeah. And so they see all the way out, like maybe a mile away, maybe a couple of miles away, they see this truck yard. Mm-hmm. I don't know what kind of trucks they are. Doesn't really matter. The shipping trucks. And they decide to, I think, fly over to the trucks, yeah? Or do they just run for it?
I think they fly.
They must fly. And then they have, but regardless, they all have their roles.
Right.
Roger, he is
hot
wiring them. Peter is following him in another truck.
Yep, to bring him back and forth from the yard.
Right. Their eyes in the sky are both Stephen, who is in the helicopter, and also Francine on the roof
with binoculars.
With a binocular and a sniper rifle, essentially.
Which I thought all of that was so smart.
What a team! Like thinking about something for every single one of them to do, and they do.
Well, and what's amazing is it's only when, and I thought this was really great too, because when they are working as a team and when they're doing everything with attention to detail, everything goes great. It's only when Roger gets really hubristic and he's like, woo! And like, doesn't...
Let's do this again!
Let's just do it! And like, even like Ken Foree's like, dude, bro, calm down. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
That's when Roger gets bit, is because he fucks up.
Yeah.
And the hubris of it, thinking that he is invincible, from that moment on, it's just a string of fuck-ups that gets him bit on the arm and the leg.
And funny enough, seeing this for the first time, I looked at Steven as the weak link, because there's a quick scene where he is going off on his own, and that's when he's in the pipe room, and the one zombie is coming after him, and he's shooting indiscriminately. And I was like, oh man, he's going to be the one that screws this all up for everybody. Kind of, at times, but not as badly as Roger does.
Well, Roger screws it up for himself.
He screws it up for himself, but the interesting thing, Peter Kenfrey says, he's like, this isn't just your life, man.
Yes.
This is all of our lives. We need 4 people. We need you to be able to do this for us.
And that was actually one of my favorite moments in this entire movie, is after he's been bitten.
Yeah.
They're still not quite ready. They still haven't prepped them all. This is right before they have the whole line of like, we're going on a hunt. This is just before they start stealing the money, and they put the zombies in the fridge and all of that stuff, and they steal the staircase door. We jumped, but what ends up happening is they get the trucks put into place.
Right.
And Roger looks at Ken Foree and says, there's a lot to get done before you can lose me.
Yeah.
And that line was heartbreaking.
Yeah. Because he knows.
He knows.
He's
he
got
knows.
he's short time or
3
disease.
days. He's got 3 days, is
Yeah.
what they say. And then there's another really interesting moment where when Francine is attacked by a zombie right around that same time, she looks at that one zombie with such humanity and sadness and loss. And I just really was like, this nails it home.
There are some great holding moments, single shot moments where it's,
yeah.
where you see the desperation or the humanity or the frustration in it all.
Yeah.
I mean, the jumping, obviously, but the end of Roger.
When Roger
expires.
Oh my god. Well, I think the juxtaposition, because Roger says to Ken Faree, it's funny how we're using Ken Faree's real name and everyone else is the character name.
Well, it's Peter. Peter.
Yeah, when Roger says to Peter, basically, he's like, I know you have to kill me when I turn. Don't do it until you're sure. Also, I'm going to do everything I can not to turn.
Everything I can.
Everything I can. Everything. I'm not gonna be one of them. And then Peter
try
just
my hardest.
sits there and waits for Roger to die.
Yeah.
And turn.
And at the same
juxtaposed
time, with Stephen and Francine watching a just stupid fight on TV with Pirate Orson Welles and Gene Shalit are
what's
like
really funny
fighting
about
on
Pirate Orson Welles?
What's that?
I looked him up because I thought he was really good in the movie.
I thought so great. Yeah.
He's an Orson Welles historian.
No,
yes,
stop it.
That's part of his. That's one of the things he does. Is he's an Orson Welles historian.
Of course, because he sounds exactly like him.
Oh my god! Well, and I thought the argument actually was really. I know you called it a stupid fight.
No,
but
it's not a stupid fight.
It's
but
a real argument.
It's absolutely a real argument. It's how. What are we going to do with these things?
And Pirate Orson Welles is like, we should bomb every big city because that's where they're at.
Yeah.
We destroy those cities because that's where the bulk of them are.
But in that situation, what I mean by it being it's not a stupid conversation. It is humanity-less conversation. It's somebody who's thinking about the numbers, thinking about the logistics of it all, rather than seeing it right in front of them, like you're saying, the juxtaposition with the human struggle of seeing arguably a really good friend. I just loved Peter and Roger's relationship, and to see that changing and seeing, I wouldn't want to have to do this to a million of my friends, let alone one guy right here.
Well, that was the thing about the juxtaposition of that moment that I thought was... you talk about great filmmaking. That was some of the greatest filmmaking of... And you know that was done on purpose.
Yeah.
That was so done on purpose. And it was just... It was breathtaking. It was breathtaking. Yeah. And it made that argument both ridiculous and... understandable.
Yeah.
Because how do you deal with a million Rogers?
Yeah.
You can't.
No.
It sort of reminded me of one of the things that I really enjoyed about Infinity War is that Thanos' argument about destroying half the population
makes sense.
Totally makes sense.
I mean, it's insane.
It's insane and it's horrible and
heartless
it's terrible and heartless and...
But it is taking a side.
Yeah,
it's thinking that we can't just go down this road.
All of us or half of us.
Yep.
And I also think what they did so well with Thanos in that movie was that Thanos wasn't talking about genocide of any one specific race. Because if Thanos was like, here's who we get rid of. These people,
this
and these people,
side of
and
the
these
universe,
people, and these people.
Yeah.
Well, then you're like, you're like Hitler 2.0.
Right.
And the attack. So hopefully people are understanding the attachment to this argument, right?
Sure.
Of like, what do you do in a situation where you're facing the end of the world?
Yeah.
If you can save half the population,
you blow up a majority of these things.
What do? You
have to.
You feel like you got to try.
Yep.
And that is going back to that ethical question of, do I bring a baby into this world?
Of course.
You have to have that ethical question of like, what do we do to survive?
Yeah.
And I thought that was great to see that with the feet on the ground survival.
Yeah.
Speaking of shots, when Peter asks Francine to marry her and she's like, no, not now, not in this world.
It wouldn't be real.
The scene with the two of them in bed.
Where
And
they're
that
mannequins?
I thought that shot was breathtaking.
It
They
was.
weren't.
Oh
they
no,
weren't mannequins.
No,
they
no,
were
no.
them, but they weren't
I know, but
moving.
they were just still.
Oh.
That was the stillest. I mean, it felt like a screenshot.
God
it
damn
felt
it.
like a still.
That scene.
It was depressing as hell, man.
It felt sick to my stomach.
Yeah,
because you could just feel a moment where love was gone.
it's like, well, yeah. If you've given up on the world, then by extension, you've given up on us.
Yeah. God, it was so fucking
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
And this is around the time when the bikers show up.
Yeah, within the last 20 minutes of the movie,
Yeah.
it's the third act essentially,
Well,
which
again, who are the bad guys in every single zombie situation?
right, the
Not the
humans,
zombies,
because
it's
the
the
zombies are just a mindless. Zombies are
Predictable.
Well, they're predictable, but they're also almost as simplistic as a weather phenomenon.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, they're aggressive and they look like us, but they are essentially as destructive as a tornado.
Yeah.
It's part of nature.
Sure. Yes.
Rather than calculated or
Yeah.
with negative feelings or,
Yes.
you know, yeah.
Or with knowing that you're going to do harm to something else.
Actively,
It's-
yes.
It's the wildebeests in Lion King.
Sure.
They're not trying to kill Mufasa. Mm-hmm. Although, you know what? We'll have a different conversation about that on a different day.
That's fair.
But yeah. But in the midst of the bikers coming in, the bikers start having a pie fight with the zombies.
This is nuts, man. That's
crazy.
That's the one thing that I guess if you've been in that world for long enough,
Yeah.
and you are already irreverent to the world, kind of. I mean,
guess.
as they seem to be, they're a bit anarchic.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna have fun, quote unquote, with the zombies.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna toy with them, maybe.
Well, and I think this goes back to that thing of like, this is the zombie apocalypse grown-up version of little kids picking on a cat.
Right, or
neighborhood
picking off the legs of an ant or something like
Yes,
that. Yeah.
yes. Watching it die.
Sure.
Fucking with it, having a good old time.
Yeah.
Which is depressing as shit.
Yeah. Well, and at the same time, they're kind of pirate-y.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're there to loot
they're raiders.
the mall,
Yeah.
and destroy everything they can.
Yeah.
And this is actually where Steven fucks everything up, is because Steven and Peter are watching them, and Peter's like, let's just let them do their thing.
Yep. We'll put it all back.
Yeah, and we'll sort of protect
We'll
our
just
land.
hide unless they're coming for the
Yes.
fake wall.
And then Steven can't take it and shoots
Yeah.
one of them, and then from that point on, it's
They
a fucking
turn around and they're
firefight.
like, uh-oh. By the way, before we get all into this, I really liked the attention to detail of how over time that they go through the mall and they perfect it into their little place of heaven.
Enclave.
Yes, indeed. It's clear that they improve their living styles.
Yes.
The little rooms that they have
They're gorgeous.
established, rather than being, you know, stark white walls with
Yep.
nothing in them, they've put beds in them. They've put bookcases. They've
there's
designed it.
bookcases with
There's a
record
kitchen
players.
and everything. It's amazing. They even install like rope ladders rather
Yep.
than having to climb up, and,
Yeah.
and it's just so cool to see every time we're reintroduced to their living
Just a
situation.
little bit more there.
Just different, a little bit more. And I also like their weird reference for what humanity used to be, like going through when they're stealing the money.
Oh, yeah.
And then they walk through the bank line,
Yes.
walk through the ropes. I
Yeah,
think that
that
was
was
such a
great.
great little deal.
Well, and just to see the juxtaposition of they took some of the money in case they needed it for the future.
Right.
And then the bikers are there and they
all
steal
of it.
all the money.
Yep.
Tom Savini was one of the bikers, by the way.
Yes, he's mainly
Like
the
the
main
lead
guy,
biker,
almost.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, he also played the
Several of the
zombie
zombies.
that bit on Roger, which, again, those bites.
So gross.
Gross. They had
so
some
gross.
They
His
had
makeup
some
effects were so beautiful.
bites also in the tenement building.
Yes. And
And
just
those
like the
were-
way skin ripped and blood spurted out.
Yeah.
And some of the headshots were just horrifying.
Right? The pop in the middle of the forehead.
Well,
Yeah.
if you think of that shot, and I know we're hopping back to that shot in the tenement building,
Mm-hmm.
that shot is so important in cinematic history.
the shotgun to the head?
Yes, because it's so gory.
Yeah.
It's the first time gore like that has ever been seen. I mean, this movie was originally rated X
Oh my god.
for gore.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to trim it down, so George Romero got the studio to release it as an unrated film. and rather than an X-rated film.
Yeah.
Because there's no way this is an R-rated movie.
No.
But one of the things that is so fucking fascinating to me, if you think of that goriness, like the scene in Scanners where the dude's head blows up.
Oh my God.
Like that doesn't happen without this movie.
No.
And they use similar effects and similar techniques.
Oh, that's interesting.
But like if you start thinking about the kind of gore that we see in movies after this,
right.
it can't exist unless this movie exists.
No, this is a stepping stone. This is a milestone.
This is huge. This is a landmark movie when it comes to like gore effects in film.
Yeah.
And in horror.
I also one more little thing when they're getting the guns, when they're collecting like all of their. Also, they have gun racks in their place
fun.
too.
So smart.
But there is the callback to Night of the Living Dead with the room of taxidermied heads.
Well, yeah,
and
the
that's
gun,
in the
gun shop.
Yes,
in the mall.
Exactly. Yeah, and I thought that was very interesting that they did similar shots around there. It wasn't like people were freaking out about them, but like Barbara did.
It just sort of. Although I also wonder if that stuff was brought into the mall, or if that just existed at the mall.
I would hope that they brought it in, like as a.
Some of that you don't. It's like it's so interesting to me.
Yeah.
A couple of things that I thought were really great is after Steven started the firefight with the bikers, when he is shot in the arm in the elevator, that I don't know why I thought that was so brutal and sort of made me nauseous.
Yeah, it popped, man.
It was so gross. And then when he just kept getting shot and
eaten
and eaten and bit by the zombies, and he kind of like lands in the elevator and the doors close and he's sort of safe. Like, well, he's not torn apart, but he's in there still alive but dying.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the bikers starting to get ripped apart. That, the intestines, because those were real cow intestines, I believe.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Those were horrifying.
Yeah,
so disgusting.
I looked at that and I was like, that could be a documentary, man. That could be real footage of a person getting ripped apart.
My stomach is actually feeling queasy just thinking about it.
That's probably, I would say, the best. Like, there are really good effects
all the way
throughout, but I think that is most likely the most gorific.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, God, it was gorgeous.
Also, I know these are dark comedy-ish.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
Because this movie is really funny.
But the blood pressure machine, it made as much sense to be smashing pies in zombies' faces than to, in the apocalypse, be taking your blood pressure in an armband machine. I'm guessing
what happened is that's on set. And they were like... I guess we'll use it.
Why not? Yeah.
Let's film around it and let's see what we get. Because that mall was a real mall. That was the Moreauville Mall.
Right.
So that should be noted, too. They actually filmed at a real mall.
And they could only film between 10:30 at night when the mall closed to...
10 p.m.
10 p.m., okay. To 6 in the morning.
Yep.
And I love the reason for why they had to stop at 6.
Yeah, because the mall actually didn't... And this is where you got 10:30. The mall didn't open until 10:30 a.m.
That's the one.
But the music came on at 6 a.m. and nobody... including the people who worked at the mall, could figure out how to turn off the music.
I love that so much.
Yeah, they could have got 12 hours of shooting done a night, but instead they can only get 8 hours of shooting done a night. That includes all setup and takedown, too.
That's crazy.
Which, when you really think about it, is nuts.
The nice thing is that a lot of the shots, when they're in the storage rooms, were probably not on the mall set.
Yes, where they lived was not on the mall set.
Right.
I remember reading that somewhere.
Even the roof could be shot at any time.
Right.
Because they did have to... Those were the day shots.
And same thing with the trucks.
Trucks and stuff,
But still... So what ends up happening is the bikers all get chased away or eaten by the zombies. And then the elevator doors open and Steven is a zombie.
Iconic zombie.
His zombie is so good.
And the interesting thing, he got bit in the leg, and I see this a lot in zombie movies where they drag the one leg with little to no reason for it. But I thought that every bit of movement of his was warranted.
Warranted.
The dead right arm that he had gotten shot in, the hanging gun was great, and the fact that he got bitten multiple times on the leg.
And his leg
was like cocked to the side. Yeah.
Romero said that was his favorite zombie walk he's ever seen, and
zombie shuffle.
I agree with it.
Yeah,
and I also thought this was an interesting thing too. Is people often ask Romero if he told people how to walk, and he was like, "God no." And they were like, really? Why? And he was like, well, if I told everybody to walk like this, I'd have 1,000 extras walking like that.
Right.
And they'd all look the same.
Yeah.
So I just kind of gave him like a walk like you think a zombie
Carte
would walk.
blanche. Yeah.
And that was fascinating.
That's so good.
Steven exits that elevator, and the first place he goes is to the boarded up stair door.
Yeah. That
They boarded up, and
Yeah.
he breaks through it. And I was like, this is one of the most brilliant writing moments.
Yeah.
Because they've made such a huge point about how the zombies are going back to the mall because that's just the place they're familiar with.
Yep.
And the place they feel most comfortable. Well, where is Steven going to go?
back to home, back to their hideout.
Yep.
And it's brilliant because both of those points are brought up maybe in the first 30 minutes of this movie and paid off in the last 10.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
So good.
Yeah.
Long story short, Francine and Ken Faree get away.
Yep.
Ken Faree was going to stay, but he decides to go.
And he looks down and he says, it's Steven. Steven's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So good.
Oh, we didn't even talk about
good.
the Hare Krishna zombie that breaks in accidentally. But
Well, we kind of
whatever.
did a little bit,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like the idea of like.
But she fights him
religion.
off with a flare, and I
Yes.
thought that was a great callback again because people probably know by this time that that fire scares off the zombies.
Well, then they use little
butane torches.
Butane torches. That's
Yeah,
what I was looking
yeah.
for, to get zombies to move away rather than waste bullets.
all the little things, building the world, building
Yeah.
the cause and effect, the reactions, the ideas.
So I have a question for
Yeah,
you.
go ahead.
Do you think a mall is a good place to hole up in a zombie apocalypse?
Depends on the design of it.
I guess so.
I think there are open air malls, and that wouldn't be
Obviously,
great.
yeah.
I think that there's a lot of vantage points
Sure.
and places to be able to lock up. They're a very complicated situation, I think. I think it was brilliant that they blocked off the mall because the weakest points in the mall are the doors. The entryways.
And there's a lot to secure.
Also, I think that malls these days aren't so full of everything that you would need
Right,
to
the foods and everything
You know,
else.
there is the food court, and I get that, but I don't think they would have. You know, they wouldn't definitely have guns, but they would. Mostly, it would be clothes.
Clothes.
You know,
yeah.
I don't see and Apple tablets. You know, I mean, you're not going to be able to do much with them all. I think honestly, a Walmart would be a better place, or any big box store like that. But there's very few places to enter. Mm-hmm. You can lock them off pretty easily, I think. Yeah, a mall would be a fun place, but not the most practical. What do you think?
You know, it's interesting because I think malls, Costco's, any big box store like a Walmart, would be like all of the worst places you could go.
Okay.
Partially because everyone else is going there.
That's true too. Yeah.
So that would
It
be
is.
my
It
one
is
thought.
a definite. I mean, it's built strongly.
Sure.
But you're right. It's a definite target.
If there were a Target.
Yeah.
If there's only 2 people in the whole big box store,
Sure.
you could survive a long time. But I'm guessing there's going to be 100 people in that big box store.
Sure.
And it will then become chaos.
Yeah. I'm from the Bay Area, and there is a community college named Ohlone down in Fremont, and everybody that I always talk to was like, that's where we're going, because I bet you zombies don't like walking upstairs. And there are about 300 to 400 steps up to just the main campus, and then there's even
Jesus
further.
Christ.
So for that,
Yeah,
you
that makes sense.
You got the high ground, and also there's a cafeteria.
There you
So-
go. So let's just talk about the couple of things that makes this fodder, like why we talked about this movie.
Yeah.
I find this movie so inspirational. It's gritty, it's dirty, it's awesome. If you go to a mall and a mall lets you shoot there, you don't have to pay for a set, and it looks real.
It's so good.
And that's why this movie can be made for $500,000.
Also, if they let you drive a Datsun through it.
Well, that's a whole other story.
That's
I'm curious
amazing.
how many of those things they were allowed to do, or they just did.
That's very true. And all of the blood that they had to clean up.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But fuck.
Man,
I accidentally said butt fuck, but you know what I mean.
whatever.
This movie was so good.
It's great. I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What else? Is there
Totally
anything?
inspirational.
Man,
The humanity, the humor, especially with the "Do you have a cigarette?" moment. Ken Faree's "I know how to abort a baby" moment. The juxtaposition of the talk show and Roger.
Yep.
The remembering of the staircase. I thought so many things were set up and then paid off really, really well.
yeah.
I like how
just the tragedy of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how this is a direct sequel to Night of the Living Dead
Yeah.
without being the same characters. I mean, it just really lived... Because I feel... Maybe that's actually a way of putting it, is like, maybe it's not a direct sequel, but it's a sequel that lives in the same world.
Yeah.
Builds upon the world and makes the world better.
Yeah.
You know what it actually kind of reminds me of, in
What's that?
some ways? The Purge movies, when it comes down to, like...
Huh. Yeah, because it's a worldwide event
Yes.
that everyone is having to deal with in a different way, and that's a very interesting way of looking at it. Yeah.
And the Purge movies are not great, but they're also not bad.
No.
I found all of them to be really fucking fascinating.
Sure.
So yeah,
I'm interested to watch the series.
I haven't watched the series yet either.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out. There's a ton out there, and
Seriously.
we're only allowed to watch canon movies or tangentially related canon movies.
So-
We're not cheating at all. Shut up.
No, not at all. So anyways, one thing we should mention about this movie is that when George Romero was writing it, he had a huge big-time fan in Dario Argento. Dario Argento, who did, of course, Suspiria and Deep Red and Cat o' Nine Tails and Bird with the Crystal Plumage and Phenomena and on and on and on.
Sure.
Sort of, he didn't invent the giallo filming techniques, but he sort of perfected them, I would say. And
Do you mean Galileo?
Shut up, I hate
All right,
you.
go ahead.
Of course you have to remind me of that horrible time in my life. And Argento basically said to Romero, why don't you come to Italy? You can work on the movie.
So cool.
You can write it, and we will not bother you in any way, shape, or form.
Wow.
Romero took him up on it, wrote the script in 3 weeks.
Jesus.
And Argento said, okay, here's the deal. I will help you with funding, and I will get my friends Goblin to do the score.
Damn,
the
man.
only thing you have to let me do is edit it for Europe. And
Okay.
Romero was like, deal.
That's so cool.
So this movie came out
What
as...
a team up.
What a team up. Zombie, Z-O-M-B-I,
Yes.
in Europe.
Italy. Yeah.
Yep. So it has... This is one of those interesting movies where Dawn of the Dead spawned several sequels of its own, right? Day of the Dead is a sequel. But Lucio Fulci started making sequels.
So it diverged there.
There.
Yeah.
So Night of the Living Dead has Dawn of the Dead as a sequel, but it also has Return of the Living Dead as a sequel.
Right.
So this movie also diverges, and there's two paths.
It's
where-
like cells dividing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's so weird. Where Fulci made this movie called Zombie.
Okay.
In the United States, it's called Zombie, but everywhere else, it's called Zombie 2.
Right.
Which was a sequel to this movie.
Oh my god.
So, I don't know. Maybe if you ask me a quick question.
Yeah. Yeah. Nick, what do you think we're doing next week?
Zombie 2, motherfucker!
Oh shit!
Or, as the US would say, Zombie!
Oh!
Or, as the Cranberries would say,
Zombie, zombie, zombie.
So,
Yeah.
where can people follow us?
Oh, I suppose they can follow us. Well, they can follow me at the AJ Hamilton all over the places. How about you?
You can't follow me.
Aw.
I'm unfollowable.
Aw.
I've boarded up all of my social media accounts
You know what follows?
because I'm afraid
It.
it follows. Or just, nicholascpappas.com. Or
Oh, that makes sense.
At Nicholas C. Pappas on the Twitters.
That's Pappas.
Yes. Not Piefight.
Pie fight. And you can follow us at Creating Canon. That's CANNON. You can email us creatingcanon@gmail.com. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for Shocktober. This is going to bleed over into Shockvember.
Shockvember. Oh, we are drawing this out as much as we can. Heck yeah. I blame Othello.
Othello broke us.
Yep, so this is the fourth zombie movie that we have done,
Yep.
all leading up to Spooky Halloween.
So, you know what we say?
Yes.
Good night and good Halloween.
Canon.
That was so weird.
It's great.
Zombie. I love to sing that song,
Yeah.
but as if I were a fan of Pee-wee's Playhouse. Zombie, zombie.
It's the sound of zombies.
What's the word of the day?
Zombie.
A little bit.
Brando?
Like Brando. Yeah.
Fat
Like-
Brando or Thin Brando?
What was he in Godfather? I mean, he was padded up a bit.
Yeah, that was like Thin Brando still.
Yeah, you're fine.
Although it was weird that they brought Brittany Murphy back from the dead. So
What?